In the hive, you will run for your life. Pressure's on, hit the water, you die. Spintown is coming for you. Death dealers will get you too. Sudden burst and he flies right by. When he waves, you will die, die, die. Well, he's death dealing all over you. Spintown's gonna get you too. Spintown's gonna get you too.
Welcome to Spintown, guys. Today you're not getting your typical Spintown Minecraft video, and that's because I watched KazPro's video where he did a tier list of all the Death Run maps, and he did it from the runner's point of view. And of course, you know, his opinion may vary a little bit from another runner. You know, I'm sure there's going to be 100 ways you can do this from the runner's point of view. But I thought it was interesting nonetheless, and I thought that somebody should do a list from the Death Dealer's point of view. And since I play as Death as much as anybody, why not me, right? So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to basically put all these maps on one of these 5 tiers here, and I did it as like the standard American like grading system here, A, B, C, D, and F. I think Kaz did it with a little bit different system, but whatever. Same principle, guys. And I also have the list of like my kill records here pulled up on the right, and I'm sure my tier list is going to like mirror those kill totals a lot. Maybe not completely. Like, I may have a couple maps drop down lower than you would think based on my kill record, but I think it's going to be very similar to this list you see on the right. And we're going to go just one at a time from this top left here and work our way down, so alphabetical order. Alarian Ruins is probably not going to surprise most people. I'm putting it at the bottom. It's just not a good map for Death Dealer. The traps are very spread out. There's no good killers on this one. Yeah, it's just hard to get group kills because everything's so spread out and there's no stop points. I mean, you do have the water stop point on the stairs. It takes fucking forever. But you don't get kills from it. And that's kind of towards the end of the map as well. You also have 2 automatic traps on this course that you can't get kills from. It's just disappearing blocks, and you have a random falling sand block. Both those things I think are fucking retarded, especially when it's already so bad for Death Dealer. When they did the Death Run 2.0 update or whatever, 1.5 update, whatever it is, they should have changed that. They should have put real traps there, and I was disappointed that they didn't. But next we're going with Alien Facility. Boom, right on the bottom along with the other map. Again, horrible one for a Death Dealer. The only place you can get a decent amount of kills a lot of times is the parkour right before the green bars. And other than that, most of the traps are really easy to avoid. And I find myself being thrilled if I get like 40 kills. if I'm stuck being Death Dealer on that map. I don't buy it for those maps. If I have a map listed in like the D and F category, I do not buy Death Dealer for those maps unless I see nothing but blue names that I don't recognize in the game. So if you see me as Death Dealer on one of those maps and there's like a ranked player or a very familiar player in the game, it was a random death game for me. I did not buy it, okay? You will always know that. But I will buy it, though, on those instances, just because I do try to improve my records even on the bad maps, okay? One of the things I've tried to do over the last couple years is I've tried to get 100-plus kills on as many maps as I can. I think I've got it on 25 maps now. And I'm currently, the one I want to try to get 100 on next is the prison, and I'm struggling, okay? It's been rough. But next map, I'm digressing. Castle. It's one of the newest maps, okay? It came out with Viaduct, Gravity, and all 3 of them are A-plus maps for me as far as being a Death Dealer. Gravity probably more so than Castle and Viaduct. Gravity, you got some grinding traps where you just rack up the kills fast. Castle and Viaduct, you're going to get a lot of kills. I mean, there's good traps in them, but it's also just really long maps where you just have plenty of opportunities to get kills. So, yeah, all 3 of those. Let me just go ahead and put up Viaduct as well. And Gravity, it's in here. Screw the alphabetical order, guys. That thing I said we were going to do, we're already not doing it. I'm going to put Gravity right there. And I like Viaduct a little bit better than Castle. Although my record is like identical on those two maps, I believe. Cave is next. So Cave, I put it above Larian Ruins and Alien Facility, but not by much. I mean, this one's just another one that's really bad for Death Dealer. You don't have good stop points. Some of the traps are pretty spread out. It's just, I can see somebody getting 100 kills on this if they're really lucky, but the situation, the stars must align just right for this to happen on this map. I don't know if I'm ever going to try getting 100 on it. I mean, I do try to improve my record, but I mean, it's not one that I'm really focused on. I told you it's Prison right now, and if I do another one after that, it might be Mine. Maybe. I mean, I've seen people do School and maybe Windfall with 100 kills, which I think is insane, but I think I might go Mine after Prison. So, Crystal Knight is next. That one, I don't think would surprise people if I put it up there. And, geez, just a great map for death. Even if you don't have a ton of people on the map, you can get a lot of kills from those fucking beacons. Then you got the parkour and the arrows and the glass wall after the beacons, so you can keep sending people back to the beacons. Oh, it's great. I love it. I will buy that as death if I'm just trying to get my 100 kills for the day and be done with Death Run. So if Expelliarmus or something else hasn't came up, I'll buy Crystal Knight even if I see some ranked runners in it, because I know I could probably get 100 kills anyways. Elements. Elements is pretty mediocre. It's a solid map. It's fun to run too. But it's also solid for Death Dealer. My record is just barely 100. It's 100 even. I could probably improve it easy enough if I really put in some effort. But here's the thing, when I'm going for these like 100 kills on these maps, once I get 100 plus, I'm pretty much done with trying. I don't care if I get 100 or if I get 150. If I got 100, I'm done. Mission accomplished. I don't need to increase that anymore. Now, I will try. If I end up being Death Dealer on it, I will always try to get as many as I can, but I'm no longer looking to pick that map all the time as Death Dealer and to keep grinding, trying to increase my record. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not worried about it anymore. So that's why it's still at 100. I know I could increase that if I wanted. Enchanted Lagoon is next. And now my record is higher on this one than it is on Elements. But I think Elements is better for Death Dealer. I really struggled to get the Enchanted Lagoon map over 100 kills. And when I did, I went from like, I think it was like my record may have been like mid 90s at the time, maybe high 90s. Then I got like 113, like all of a sudden out of the blue. I was like, wow. I was so thrilled because I was so sick of playing that map as Death Dealer. I mean, it's not a great one. Like I put it in the mediocre category barely. It barely gets a C. But also that map tends to make my game really laggy and crash from time to time. I'll have to like restart Minecraft after picking that map a couple of times, and so it was just a real pain in the ass to try to up my record on there. But oh god, everybody knows where this one's going. Come on, it's the best death map in the game. Even though the latest update to Death Run nerfed it, and now it's not so great. I mean, it's still great, but it's still the best. It's just not as good as it was. My record is like 332. I probably would have increased my record if they wouldn't have made the changes to the last update. But in the last update, the water that used to fall from the ceiling now comes up from the ground and dissipates really fast, which I think is fucking stupid. I get why they would do that on a lot of maps where you don't want to have players just sitting there and waiting for 30 seconds. But on that map, it made sense for the water to come from the ceiling because you could still pass that section if you were able to do the parkour across the top. I thought that just totally ruined that section of the map when they did that. It was so fucking stupid. And also, they made the change to where the glass, the air snake, I think it's checkpoint 2, right at the end of checkpoint 2, now you have those safety blocks that don't fall, which is fine. I get that it was meant to be that way originally anyways. But it makes it harder on the Death Dealer. And it's also the only map, after all these years of me playing this game, the only map I've actually won as Death Dealer on. And I've done it twice. I did it with a partner and I did it solo. Now, with the changes they made to the map, I don't know if I can do that anymore. I mean, it's been a long time since I did it, and I've been trying. So those changes they made really affected the game in that way for me. I mean, now I felt like I had a very small chance at winning on that one map, to now feeling like I probably have no chance at ever winning again, and it sucks. They should make at least where the Death Dealer has it, even if it's a very slim chance to win on some maps. It'd be nice if there's 2 or 3 of them where maybe a 1% chance you could probably win. Now, I think the only way you're going to win is if there's very few people, like the very bare minimum, to actually start a game, and they all have to pretty much suck. New to Minecraft parkour completely, and you get Expelliarmus, or you get Crystal Knight, or Viaduct. Again, stars align perfectly, and maybe even a couple of them get disconnected because they have bad internet. If all those things happen, you might have a chance at winning, but you're still going to have to do a good job, because that's still fucking hard. Next map, High City. You might think, based on my kill records there to the right, that it's going on top, because it's like this 4th highest kill total I've had for a map, but it's going down at the B level. And even though I got that big record or whatever, I mean, there's bigger records, and it's not like these are world records to the right. A couple of them might be, but most of them not. My average on High City is not that good. You get a couple good runners in this one, and your kill total can plummet. And yeah, I'm putting it there just based on my average for the map. My average on Castle, Viaduct, Crystal Knight, Gravity, Expelliarmus, they're all much higher than they would be for High City. So that's why I dropped it. And really, aside from that one parkour section and the arrow parkour after that, to me it's not that great of a death map. It's just, if you get a bunch of noobs in those 2 sections, you can rack up kills. But other than that, it's not that great of a death map. So next we got Higher Dimensions. Giving that a solid C. Probably a little bit better than Elements and Enchanted Lagoon because of the speed section with the pumpkins and the parkour after. There's a couple other good killers like the disappearing parkour with the heads you can jump off of too. Those are all good places to get kills, and you can rack up kills at the end a little bit. The last 2 checkpoints, or really just the second to last checkpoint. Once they get to the last one, they've pretty much won. But yeah, it's a solid map. Not great, but it gets a C. And C is average, guys. C is not bad. If you get a C in school, your teachers and your parents can be disappointed at times, but fucking C is average. There's nothing wrong with being average. Somebody's got to be average. Do you want to be below average? No. Average is good. It's completely fine to be average. Most people are. That's why it's fucking called average. Yeah, Ice. I digress a lot when I do these little off-the-cuff videos, guys. That's why I don't do them a lot. You get montages from me. Ice, going at the bottom. It's my lowest record for any map, and it's just barely over 50. And I'll never get 100 on this one, much like a couple others, but I struggled to get 50 on it. It took me a while, and I think that I forget what the record is, but I wouldn't think it's even 70. And it's hard to know what the records are in Death Run because there's no good way to track it. They had a records website for it, and then they changed the website and whatever it's called for the Hive, and now those websites that people made can't track the death records, which is fucking stupid. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, so there's no really good way to track death records because people don't record death games. And I've always been the believer for like speed runs and stuff like that, you ain't got the record if you ain't got video. And if I hold people to the same criteria with being Death Dealer, I got every fucking record in the book because I'm the only one fucking recording games, right? So, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I mean, I know there's people that has beat my scores. No doubt about it. But there have been numbers that would pop up on those websites before they stopped working that I questioned. I'd be like, yeah, I don't know about that. I think you might have been boosting. I won't call out any names in particular, but I mean, and there's definitely the regular death dealers that you would see on that list, like Bobby and some of those others. I think they're legit. They're legit good, okay? But then there'd be one guy that you never hear of. All of a sudden, boom, amazing number pops up. It's like, whoa, how the fuck did he get that? It's those things that make you think something might be a little fishy, and it's again, why I think that if you want to have a record in anything, you need to actually have the evidence. And the evidence is not a screenshot, guys. Evidence is video of the game from start to finish. Ilvery, I think that's how you say that one. That one is going to be mid-level for me. It wasn't that hard for me to get over 100. My record's still not amazing on it, but again, once I got over 100, I stopped kind of focusing on it. Interstellar, same thing. I never really thought of it as a good death map, but then when it came time for me to try to get 100 over it, it wasn't that hard. And my average on it is pretty consistently good. I mean, unless there's a very few people on the map, I'm not concerned with missing my average by much. And my average when as a death dealer is like 70 plus. It's like 73 right now, I think, kills per game. So I'm pretty comfortable getting that if that map comes up. Jade Coast, same thing. And there's going to be a lot in this mid category, guys, because, well, again, average is average. There's going to be a lot in that area. Jungle Base, same thing. Legacy, boom. Jungle Base, I like the water traps on that one. How they fall from the ceiling on that one is great. I hope they never fix that, because you can sit there and you hit if you don't have a partner, partners screw this up all the time. You hit the last water trap, and then as it's about to dissipate, you hit the other one, like the second one, and the runners, if they try to go forward, they get caught between the two waters, and if they go backwards, you can hit the first one and make them back up again. And if you time it right, you can go hit the third one again, and they're just completely stuck behind that water unless they're smart enough to strafe over. I love that about it, and they should not change that. It makes it different. It's unique because of that. Mine, again, I think that's going to have to go with a D level. I mentioned I might be able to get that one to 100, or it'd be the one I focus on after Prison. But I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it, and it's not going to be easy. I know other people, or at least one other person has, maybe two. Again, I've not seen video of it, but I've seen their stat pop up on the website before it stopped working. So that's kind of why I had it on my list of things to do after Prison, is just because of what I saw somebody else do. For me, I'm struggling with it when I play it. Riviera, middle of the road. Long-ass map. Doesn't have a good section where you're just going to rack up a ton of kills. But because it's so long, you got a lot of opportunities to get kills still. So it works out for the death dealer in that way. Savari Valley, mid-level again. School. It's going to have to go down there D level for me. It's not nearly as bad as some of the others. And again, I think somebody had over 100 on that one too on a website. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. It's not going to be easy again. So, seasons. Man, it really depends on who is in the game with seasons, and that's why I'm going to put it at B. It can easily be an A level depending on who's in it, and if you have a partner really screws that one up for me, because the way I play it is I want to slow down the start, the lead runner, the whole race, until I get to the electrocution trap on the last checkpoint. Once I get to that point, the people in the back, I'm not killing them anymore. I want them all to catch up to the front. Because when I stop the lead runner, I also teleport back and get people like in the middle of the map as well. But once I get to that electrocution trap, I stop doing that and I let them catch up. Especially if they're bad runners, because I know I'm going to get like 6 to 8 kills on each one on the last checkpoint. And those kills, if I kill them with only like 10 seconds left in the game, it'll count for me because that trap recharges so fast. But if there's really good players in the game, they can end it fast enough where some of those other players don't even get to the end, and your kill total may end up being about 60, especially if you have a partner. But at the same time, if you look over at my kill record, it's 160. So it can vary a lot, which is why I'm dropping it down to B, and it's not going to be up there in the A category. Skylands. Oh, it's a rough one. Definitely a rough one. I struggled to get it up to 70. I'd like to try to get 75, maybe? I don't know if I can get 100 on that one. I really doubt it. This is tough. It's going to be a D or an F for sure. If it's an F, it's definitely better than the ones down there. I'll put it up at D. But it's like a D minus, guys. It's not good. The traps, they don't stop people at all. You can get a lot at the start from the spider webs, and that's really about it. Sometimes you can get lucky and get a bunch at the last checkpoint with really bad runners, but there's just no stop points. No stop points where you're going to grind kills anywhere in the map. Snowfall, A. Some people may not have it an A. They may drop it down to like a B or whatever, but my average is damn consistent on that one. I don't have very many bad games at Death Dealer, even when I get stuck with a partner. I hate having a partner. At the end, you can grind kills with the invisible bars and the disappearing speed section at the end. But you can also grind kills in the checkpoint before with the giant air snake and the parkour afterwards. And throughout the map, there's lots of good points to get kills, like the TNT ice bridge. It's just the start, you get a decent amount of kills. If you don't have a partner, I can get quite a few just in the first 2 checkpoints. I really like it. The whole map is just very solid for death. And my record is really good on that one. I thought for a while I might be able to get it up to 200. I'm like 6 off of getting it that high. But I haven't hit that 194 area or close to it in quite a while. I mean, I think that was just a great set of circumstances when I hit that number. But getting over 100 is not that big a deal on Snowfall, even with a couple good runners in it. So, Sonic, man, I give it a D, but I don't know if it deserves it. It's close to being an F2. It's not a good map for death at all. Starbase, boom, C category. Sweet Tooth, I'm going up B, I think. My average, or like my kill record for that one isn't as high as some of those other A level ones here, but I'm really consistent as far as like getting good number of kills on it. I don't have bad games on Sweet Tooth unless I just have a partner that totally dicks me over. Yeah, I think it's a solid B. It might be the best B map for me on there, just as far as consistency. Temple, boom, bottom. Hate it. Nothing I like about that map aside from one trap. I like the trap with the statues that drop down those axes that block people from strafing. That's an ingenious trap, but unfortunately, it doesn't always give you kills when you kill people with it. And then you have the invisible pathway, which would probably be your only grinding section to get a lot of kills on the entire map, and you can just walk around it. It's fucking retarded. I said fucking a lot in this. Okay, so I should probably like bleep this, okay? Guys, if I forget to bleep this, every time I curse, I want you to say bleep. Say it loudly, too, so nobody in the room hears it. Got it? Good. But yeah, you can walk around 2 traps, and multiple traps don't actually give you kill credit consistently. So it definitely goes at the bottom for an F for me. My record is actually, technically, it's like 88, I think, but only got that high because one of the traps was broken one day when I logged in, and I totally spammed it over and over again so nobody could get by it without strafing. And there were a bunch of noobs in the game who didn't know how to strafe, and they just kept trying to jump like a 6 or 7 block gap, and you obviously can't do that. So I got a shit ton of kills from doing that. Yeah, I was taking advantage of a glitch, I guess, but I reported it immediately after I saw it, and I used the video of that game as my like evidence. So probably still not right, but at least I did the right thing afterwards, right? Prison. That one, I want to put it here, but I think it's just have to be a really high D level because I've been trying to get 100 on it for a while. So even if I do get there eventually, I think it still have to be down at that D level. Because also, my average is not consistently good on that one as well. It can fluctuate a lot depending on who's in the game. 1 or 2 good runners can really fuck you over on that one. Throwback, probably same. I think it's going to have to be down here in the D area. There's a couple good killers, I guess. You got the invisible, like, what are they? Those bars you jump up and get you some kills, but there's just nothing really great. You got one parkour section, but the runners are normally pretty spread out by that point, so you don't get a ton from it. Yeah, I can't go any higher than that with that one. To be or not to be, it gets a C. Toxic Factory. The traps are really spread out on that one, and again, no big stop points. So yeah, I can't go any higher than a D. Voltaire, boom. It's going pretty high. My record isn't quite as high as like Expelliarmus, Gravity, and a few of those others on it, but it's another one where I consistently have really good totals. I'm not going to have a bad game where I got 40 kills. It just doesn't happen unless there's like nobody in the game and I have a partner as well. I mean, if you got an average amount of players in this game, even if there's some good ones, I'm going to have a good game with that map. So it's an A-level map. Venice, I think it's a C map. When it first came out, it did not take me very long at all to get 100 kills. I haven't got it since I got it that one time, though. And I don't play as Death on it anymore either again. And it hasn't been out very long. So possible it could be a D level, but right now I think it's a C. There's not too many grindy points on it. I will say that. Wahoo! I think that's up there right around with Sweet Tooth. I don't really have too many bad games with it, but I don't think it's reached the level consistency as those other maps as far as having great games. So yeah, this are probably these two are probably the best of the B levels for me. Western, hate to do it, but you're going at the bottom. Talk about having traps too spread out. I mean, it's insane. It's really hard to get a good kill total on this one if you're trying to slow down the runner as well, like in the front. And that's what I always do. I always try to stop the player from winning. And if you're going to try to stop people from winning, you got to stop the person in front, okay? It's my job to stop people from winning. So that's the way I look at every map. Even though it may be impossible, guys, but that's my goal every single game. Windfall. I think it's a D level. It may be one I eventually get 100 on, but for now, I think it's definitely D level. I mean, if it was going to be an easy one to get 100 on, I would have had it by now, because I played Death on it quite a bit, and it's not happening. Yagram, got to go at the bottom. And what kills me about this map right here is because with the latest update to Death Run, right, it was already a god-awful map for Death Dealer. It was never good for Death Dealer, ever. But they made it even worse with the update, because the slime bounce trap where you put a wall in front of them, they put a fucking ladder to the side. That was the only point where you would get a lot of kills on it. You could grind there a little bit because it had a parkour section afterwards. So you took the best section of that map for Death Dealer on a map that was awful for Death Dealer, and you made it worse by nerfing it. And they did that with actually a lot of maps. There's ladders on Windfall, I think, that didn't used to be there. I think there's a ladder on, is it Elfery? No, it's To Be or Not To Be. There's a ladder that wasn't there. And there's probably a few others I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but those were so stupid to add because the jumps weren't that hard to begin with. I don't understand why you would do that. And some of them were not good death maps people were having a ton of trouble with as a runner. It's just, I don't know. They totally disrespect the Death Dealer gameplay part of it all the time. Even though a lot of people were saying, oh, the new update was too heavily favored the Death Dealer. In some ways they did. I will admit that. But as far as map design, the changes they made totally helped the runner. Now, some of the things they implemented as far as the tools in the game, yeah, that helped the Death Dealer a lot. Let's see. Zoo, mid-level. Yeah, it took me a while to get 100 on it, but once I did, you know, it was a pretty good 100 game. What is it? It's 119. I've seen a lot of other people hit over 100, so it's not all that rare. Even, again, I had trouble with it, but that's maybe just me. Some people are better at some maps than others. So yeah, I think that's my list. I'm pretty happy with that. I can go through here and move things around. Like, well, maybe Volteer's a little bit better than Snowfall for me. Yeah, I don't know. That's actually, that row's pretty good. Alright guys, I edited the video here at the end a little because I started like moving these things around and like all the maps in each tier. They like put my favorite one in the top left and so forth. And I just kind of rambled for a while, then I went silent. So I decided to just edit this to where I'm done. This is what it looks like now. I moved everything around the way I want it. You can see it, and you don't have all that silence. But I could probably move around some of them a little bit more at the bottom, but I got tired of even thinking about them. I hate some of those maps so much I don't even want to deal with them anymore. So again, if you thought this was interesting and you want to do it yourself, whether it's from the runner's point of view or the death dealer's point of view, I'll leave a link to the template in the description below. And if you don't want to do a video and you just want to like share your screenshot with me, I'm going to start a thread over on the Hive in the Death Run section just for this, okay? So we can maybe talk about our opinions of each map from the death dealer and runner's point of view, and I'll link to like Kaz's video over there as well, or he can post it over there. Either way is fine. But yeah, maybe we'll get a little conversation going, which doesn't happen over in the forums very much anymore. So yeah, thanks for watching today's video. If you didn't get enough Spintown for today, you can click on the left annotation to watch my most recent music video, or you can click on the right annotation to watch last week's Monday video. Again, there's a brand new video here every single Monday. So until then, spin out.